Okay. My name is Eric Stein. I'm a principal scientist here at the Southern California Coastal Water Research Project, also SCCWRP. And our agency does a whole variety of projects related to contaminants, stormwater runoff, pollution, coastal marine resource. We do a lot of monitoring of health of marine resources and those types of things. So we've done a lot of work. I've personally been working in this area since the early 90s, so and most recently on a lot of stormwater related issues. So I guess today we're talking about trash and plastic. So we know trash is sort of a pervasive problem in urban waterways. All you have to do is go down to the beach after a heavy rainstorm and see the amount of trash and debris that winds up on the beach, and that's just a pervasive problem in urban watercourses where there's lots of opportunities for trash to get into the system through mainly common littering practices. That's probably the biggest culprit. Is just human behavior, and changing human behavior and changing some of the products we purchase is probably a good first start to eliminating some of that. Clearly, the trash removal programs that the counties have put in place in recent years have had a huge effect. I mean, the trash booms and the catch basin inserts to catch debris have made, a huge impact. And all you have to do is you can, from the counties, see how much tonnage they pull out of the rivers every year in terms of material that gets caught in the trash nets and the inserts, and that's all material that's not making it to the beach. So that's been a big benefit to the system, but still, it's not 100% effective, and so changing people's behavior is a big part of solving the problem. I think the emerging issue really is now with trash and debris is what we call nurdles, or the plastic pellets. And there's been recent legislation in the state to try to start limiting and controlling the way nurdles are used, but essentially these are the native plastic material that is used and melted down to form plastic molded products. And these pellets, there's tremendous amount of loss of these pellets, at every, from the ship to the train to the industrial facility. There's loss, there's issues with the way the pellets are stored in industrial facilities, and so invariably these pellets get into the waterways, and they're small, and they don't usually get caught by the trash nets and the debris, the booms, and so a lot of times they wind up on the beach and into the ocean. And all you have to do is walk along any of our beaches, and I guarantee you'll find little plastic pellets, little nurdles, look like little clear plastic balls usually, and you find them in the sand. It's very easy to find. Every time I go to the beach, my kids pick up a whole bunch. So they're out there. We know that these things, they make it into the ocean, and depending on the type of pellet, some of them are neutrally buoyant and some of them are positively buoyant. And so once they're out in the marine ecosystem, they're often ingested. Animals mistake them for food or just incidentally ingest them, and so that becomes a threat to marine life in terms of, they eat those and it fills up their stomach, and instead of eating their food source, and oftentimes they'll starve based on that. So this this is kind of a big management challenge for us now, is to try to find ways to control the loss of these nurdles, so that they're better controlled through all parts of the handling process, so they're not finding their way into the waterways. So that's probably one of our key issues with trash and debris right now. I think it's mainly, I don't know, it's hard to say if it's an indicator of anything, but it's mainly associated with more urban settings, right? So clearly where there's trash, it's typically in an urban setting, and so that is often, not always, but is often accompanied by other types of urban contaminants. So, in urban settings, you have lots of opportunities for sources of material. There's potential for sources of bacteria, there's potential for sources of metals and nutrients, organics. So those are typical, those are associated with all the things that we do, all of our household practices, products we use around our homes, emissions from our cars, things, brake dust, all of the things that are part of urban life. Those produce different types of of pollutants. And so where you have trash, you often have other types of contaminants as well. And again, more recently, as more developments are retrofitted with catch basin inserts and filters or basins or things that can control these things at their sources, the less of it gets into our water bodies. But typically these things sort of occur in the same places because they're just both products of the urban environment.